Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cyber Thunder. We got the trucks at Daytona tonight. My name is Jerry Isaacson here. Season. Sorry for those of you looking for Mr. Twist. Well, he is on track. He's going to be on track all season. So, yeah, probably not going to live up to the expectations when you tuned in. But then again, it's not Mike Stiverson, so maybe we're a little bit ahead. We'll see how this goes. This season, I have with me Mr. Cody Richardson, our current reigning Cyber Cup champion. Cody, you got a copy?
I'm right here with you, Jerry. Yeah, I agree 100%. At least we're not Mike. That's the best thing that could possibly happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Welcome, Cody. I don't think you've. I know I've co-hosted a couple of times, but I think this is, other than being interviewed, this is your chance to actually do an interview.
Yeah, I think I was with you guys one other time back a couple seasons ago in the Mad Sim Racing Road Challenge series. I think I broadcasted one night with you guys then. But this is going to be the first time on the oval side, and looks like we got a great race coming up here with the trucks. Looks like qualifying is getting ready to start. It's going to be a good night, good race to kick off this season for sure.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to it. We're going to be at Daytona for this opener. Tell us a little more about what we can see tonight.
Absolutely. Daytona International Speedway underneath the lights tonight. 65 laps here at this high bank super speedway. Got 3 sets of tires for the drivers in the pits. They can go about 18, 19 laps of fuel if they're up front leading, but if you're in the back saving a little bit of fuel in that pack, you may be able to stretch it out to 21, 22 laps. It's going to make it a little interesting with this pit strategy. Who wants to be up front leading but burning that extra fuel? Who wants to be in the back saving it? Maybe go a lap or two longer, cut out a pit stop at the end. I love these kind of strategy races. It's going to be a great time.
I'm looking forward to it. So I see in the chat we had the game a little high. I've turned that down. Let me know if that's better. In terms of voices, I've got that turned up all the way. So just keep me on the know as to how we're doing here. We are getting ready for qualifying right now. We are going to have over 40. What do we got? 40. Looks like 40 racers on the track tonight. We've got our top 24 from last season that are automatically in. And then the rest of the crowd had to actually qualify their way in. So we're going to end up with 40 drivers tonight, 40 trucks. Season opener, everybody's excited. I'm looking forward to it. We've got a long run tonight. I don't know. What do you think? We're going to see some green flag pit stops?
I sure hope so. I think these guys can do it. It is the first race of the season. It is a super speedway. People sometimes get a little antsy about that and everything, but right now it looks like we got Neil Hale out on the track coming to do his first lap. Neil Hale's been with us for a few seasons here. He's a great racer, getting some great skills and everything. I think he's got a good shot at hopefully making the playoffs this season for sure as he comes across the line to start his lap.
Absolutely. I know he's been working hard. We've got a couple of new drivers out here that I have not seen before. I don't see any of them on track right now, but looks like most of the drivers are probably names you're going to recognize from seasons past. I know the trucks. Cody's kind of qualified himself out with his I rating, but pretty much anybody else can run the trucks.
Yeah, Tuesday's always been our open to pretty much everybody league that as long as you don't have a super high I rating, they let you in here to race, and it's open for everybody. There's a big field spread and everything, but everybody in here is pretty good. These trucks are pretty fun to drive. They're pretty competitive with our fixed setups that we have. Everybody is on the same page. It all comes down to driver skill, and especially at this track here, knowing when to make the right moves, knowing when to not make a move, who to push, when to get pushed. We see Mike Stiverson coming through. Looks like turn 3 and 4 right now, coming to the stripe.
So, what do you think about Daytona? I know there's different philosophies. Some people like to get in the front and avoid the wrecks. Some like to lay back. Some just kind of do what they do. I mean, what's your thoughts on a super speedway?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I always used to be stay in the back and avoid the wrecks that way, but somehow I always still ended up wrecked. It wasn't until you pushed me to go to the front that I stopped being in as many wrecks. So I think the more cars behind you, the better you will be. They can't wreck you if they're behind you. I guess they
Absolutely.
can. I guess they can with a bad push, but it's less likely to happen, and you're not going to be running into anybody wrecking on the coming through these high banks and everything. I think you want to be up front. I don't know that that means you want to be leading, but it definitely means that the farther in front of everybody that you are, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that, obviously, wholeheartedly. I think being out front, you avoid the wrecks. And the thing is, being out front does not necessarily mean that you have to be ultra aggressive out there. Sometimes it's a lot less aggressive in the top five or so at a super speedway because they know that they're towards the front and they're just waiting for the wrecks to happen. So it's almost cruising at that point.
Right. A lot of these races are all 100% about survival. It's getting to green flag pit stops, nailing your green flag pit stop, and then hoping you're in a small enough group to drive away. If you're going to make a green flag pit stop here, you want to have a few other cars with you. You can't do it single. You're just going to be way too slow that you're going to get swallowed up by a pack if you even have any draft help after you come back out. But I mean, it's all survival. The last couple laps is where you start racing. I know if you're in the back, you need to get your way up there, but I just think the farther in front you are, the more you can sit and ride. You don't have to make moves. You only have 3 or 4 people to pass before you for the win, instead of having to pass the entire field after waiting in the back.
Absolutely. I know this was set up for 10 minutes of qualifying. I don't know if they're going to cut that short. I don't really see anybody out there on track. Oh, yep, they did. They just advanced it. So we're going to
Looks
get
like they
ready to
did.
do some racing here soon.
All right, you want
Looks
to run
like
through our
Eric
running order here?
Anderson was our pole.
Yeah, Eric Anderson on pole, followed by Joey Sines. Mike Stiverson and Kyle Nadeau make up the second row. Stephen Hine, Neil Hale in the third row. William Kern in seventh. Andy Cork in eighth. Crank Bell in ninth. And Jackie Brannon in 10th.
Following on, Cody Meadows, Alan Ayers, George Cushman, Garrett Johnson, Corey Sherman, 16th, Ray Richer, Roscoe Coblentz, Carter Lawson, Chris Herfield, 19th, Stephen Music in 20th.
Coleridge Fenimore 21st, Gary Bowman 22nd, Scott Clemens Baker and Chris Wold 23rd and 24th, Paul Turner 25th, Judd Danielson 26th, John Ross 27th, Mark Morton 28th, Andrew Caldwell 29th, and Douglas Wasaki 30th.
Kevin Fetty, 31st, Mike Donahue, Brian Dorsey, Dave Gainforth, 34th, Leroy Coblentz, Matt Kopp, Daniel Coblentz, Chris Dorsey, Jonathan Ellis, and Adam Benefield make up the back. Now, if your favorite driver is not up front, don't worry about that yet. As we say, sometimes in these super speedways, it's about just cruising, avoiding the wreck, making it to the end, and doing your racing there at the end. But I will tell you, these pit stops are going to be really important if we see some green flag pits, and I think we will.
Absolutely. And you heard a common name in there. I think everybody knows if they've ever listened to this channel before, Chris Wold. So why don't we go ahead and bring Chris Wold up here while they roll off a pit road? Chris, this is Cody and Jerry up in the broadcast booth. You got us?
I got you guys. How you doing?
We're doing pretty good up here. Can't compete with what you do up here, but we're trying our damnedest for sure. Now, you're starting a little bit further back than I think you probably want. 24th position. What's your plan going into tonight?
Well, yeah, I didn't know the group was qualifying, so I caught it late. We're in there just, talking about strategy and whatnot. So kind of mid-pack here. I'll kind of probably ride it out for a few laps, but if I can feel the temperature kind of rising, we've got a lot of new drivers out here. You may see me drop to the back and just kind of ride this out. 65 laps is a long way when really only like the last 5 or green flag pit stop will make the difference.
Well, I think you just echoed what we were talking about in pre-race on whether you go to the front or drop to the back, and whether it's worth it or not to be up there. Well, we hope you have a good race. Good luck tonight, and we hope to be talking to you again at the end.
I hope so as well. You guys have a good broadcast. Excited for you. You guys I've been listening a little bit. You're already doing a good job.
Ha!
Well, we appreciate it. We can't compete with you, though, for sure.
Yeah, next week's I'll teach you how to turn the grid on.
What?
Yeah, there. Here,
We'll
wait a
learn
minute.
new tricks.
There we go. There it is. I know
We'll
how.
learn
I
new
just
tricks
forgot.
every single day. All right, Chris. Well, I'll send you back down to your guys. Have a good race out there, and good luck to all of you.
All right, thanks, guys.
There we go. There's your grid. It's up. You can see it in case you didn't hear us. We've got your grid up now. See, I've got to figure this stuff out.
Look, we're all just fine. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, well, we needed something to do while they were pacing. We talk about the grid. Now we're going to show it to you.
Yeah, all right. Pace truck lights are off. They will be coming to the green this time. Rolling through the center of 3 and 4. 40 trucks on the grid. First race of this season. I'm excited. How about you, Jerry?
I am excited. I can't wait to hear those motors running. Let's see these first laps. How aggressive people are. How settled back they are. Let's see if they're really looking for the long run, or if we've got any guys in the back that are really just looking to charge their way to the front.
All right. Pace truck getting ready to make that left-hand turn onto pit road. Eric Anderson, Joey Signs on that front row there. Pace truck pulling off. Trucks are approaching the Geico restart zone, and they are green.
And away we go here with Eric gets a pretty good start down low. He's got that line going, but they're still 2 by 2 by 2 by 2.
Yep, looks like the bottom lane is a little bit more formed up as they come into turn 1 here. Bottom lane's going to have a little bit more momentum, but those 2 trucks on the top are hanging on tight. Looks like there's going to be a good push from the top line there, able to stay even up with Eric.
Yeah, it looks like these top 20 or so are really grouped up tight. Back behind them, it looks like a lot of them, like Chris said, are maybe falling back just a little bit and giving everybody some room.
Yeah, it looks like Music pulled out a line there, going to the back. Didn't like the energy in the pack or anything. Still side by side up front for the lead. Although it looks like Joey Signs did pull down in front of Eric Anderson, and Kyle Nadeau leading that outside line now.
Yeah, that outside line had a good run. Joey pulled down. I think he's happy to be on the bottom, but Kyle looks like he's still leading that top line, and it's got a good run.
Yep, Kyle looks like he will mark the first lap led off of this Tuesday Night Thunder season. Him and his pusher both pull down to the bottom line there and take that run from the bottom. Top lane looks like it kind of just fell apart. All 3 trucks up front on the bottom, clear 2 by behind them.
Yeah, Andy Cork left leading that top, and sometimes when the guy in front of you pulls down, it takes a minute to get regrouped back up. Looks like the 65 has finally got to 12's bumper, and hopefully they regroup and can make a charge back up to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. These trucks have not a lot of power, a lot of downforce, even in these super speedway races. The draft is important, and anytime you can kill that momentum, it's just going to kill that line. I think the secret tonight is going to be maybe not aggressive pushing, but who can maintain the gaps the best, and whose line can maintain the most momentum as we come across and finish lap number 2.
Yeah, I don't see any events that really happened on screen, but I brought up the track map. You can see Paul Turner is about a half a lap back all by himself. Coleridge Fenimore is actually off pace in the back of the group as well.
Yeah, along with Steven Music, who I said pulled out a line there on that initial start. I don't know if that was planned for them to go back there or not, but as of right now, it's still 2 by 2 action. 1 car, Kyle Nadeau out front leading. Looks like there's a bit of a gap there, but the outside lane's breaking apart. Inside lane's forming up a little bit better again.
Yeah, that bottom lane, everybody seems to be wanting to stick to the bottom. The top lane is losing people fast, so I don't know if they're going to be able to make a run here to the outside to get to the front of the pack or not.
Yeah, the bottom lane just being the shortest way around the track is usually the better way to go. If you can get some more cars and get a lot of momentum, you can get that top rolling, but it takes a couple laps to get it in. And once that bottom lane decides to get formed up and has better energy like they have right now, those top 4 trucks only about a quarter truck apart from each other. Although a good push on that outside line right now. Just keeping those cars as close together as you can will maintain that momentum. It's just a lot harder to do on that outside line with that wall coming close to you on the exit of the corners. It's just a lot safer on the inside line if you're trying to run.
Yeah, you've got a view
A
here.
little block coming to the outside. Oh, Andy Cork let him in. He did not have that spot, decided to lift a little bit and let him in line instead of causing a big wreck. That was a pretty big block coming out of 3.
Yeah, I was focused at that time on Neil's bumper. He was pushing Kyle at the bottom line pretty hard. So that bottom line is pretty tight there.
Yeah, it looks like Joey Signs was the one that threw that block there. Andy let him in. Now they're lined up. We'll see if Andy can push Joey out to the front here. But Kyle and Neil have been a pretty good teammate pairing up front there. Just Neil's given really good pushes, knows when to give the push, when not to give the push, and they're moving that bottom line right along.
Absolutely. I don't think fuel's really going to be an issue.
Oh, another big block coming out of 4 right there. I don't know if the trucks are getting loose or if they're trying to throw that block, but that was a big move
Yeah, it
coming out
was.
of 4 there for Alan
It
Ayers.
almost looked, I don't know if he had to check up or if it was a block or he got loose, but yeah, that was just a really big move. That's going to be, that's fine as long as there's an opening to the outside, but if it gets a little tight, that could mean trouble later on.
Yeah, I think it's early enough now that the same way Andy let him in, as we see another car, Eric Anderson's going to go to the back. He doesn't like that energy, doesn't like that big move that happened in front of him, knows that could cause a big wreck. He's going to try to tuck back in line here and not lose the draft. But I think they know it's early enough. I think Andy lifted and let Joey in. I think Joey lifted and let Alan in. But it was a, I don't know if it was loose or not, but it was a large block.
Yeah, and I just saw Neil kind of did the same thing there a little bit. So it may just be when you're back in that line a little bit, the truck's getting just a little bit loose. But Joey Sainz, our new leader, down leading the bottom line. What I was going to say was I don't think that fuel is going to be an issue in terms of really having to save fuel. Even if we go green, it's not a case of having to save a couple extra laps of fuel in order to get it in. So I don't think anybody's going to be bashful about leading.
Yeah, usually not anyway. I hope we don't have any cautions. No cautions are the best. Nobody wants to see other trucks get damaged or anything, but you can almost guarantee that one's going to happen at a super speedway like this. It's just one bad push, one car gets loose, one little block like that as the top lane starts to fall away. Top 6 trucks are now broken away and the top line continues to go to the bottom single file. But like I was saying, I think that it's not, you can almost guarantee a couple cautions. I think you can save some fuel under caution. I don't think the math really matters whether you make it 19 laps or 22. You're still going to have to make the same number of pit stops.
Absolutely. I think that you're right there, and I think that sometimes those green flag pits can be just as dangerous and cause a yellow as waiting around for a yellow. So we may see some action. If we don't see it on the track, we may see it when we get our first green flag pits.
Allen's going to have a little run here. He pulled in line in front of the 7, had to check him up a little bit, but it gave him a big gap and a good run. He's not going to do anything with it, though. Stays stuck in line back there in P11. Just looks like top 20 or so are single file. I think it's a good place to be right now. Like, just get in line, settle it down. We're 8 laps in, 8 laps complete. We're running lap 9. As I say that, they go too wide, of course, right in front of me. I think it's just settle in, tick off some laps. We got plenty of time to go. We're still 56 laps to go. Let's tick this off, get to the first pit stop, and go from there.
Agree completely. I think that, we've still, other than the stragglers we talked about, we've really got one big pack. The green flag pits will definitely break that up.
Yeah, it looks like Andy Cork back there, though, is trying to make the outside lane move. Now that you have a couple cars in front of him on the outside. Looks like they've made it up to 6th place now on the inside line. They're getting a really good push back there.
Yeah, we've got just those few cars. Oh, we've got some more going to the outside, though. Looks like, is that Crank?
Yep,
yeah,
that's
Crank's
Crank that
moving
pulls
to
in
the
line
outside.
behind him. This outside line starting to get some momentum. The inside line, you can see it's broken up there. The 4th place truck, there's a big gap to the 5th place truck on the bottom line behind them. Just that little bit of break up there and the good push from the outside lets this outside lane gain some momentum, and I think the drivers will see that and start to tug out there. I know I said it's time to stay in line, but, I mean, if you think it's time to go, it's time to go.
Absolutely. That's what Scott Clements Baker is saying. It's time to go. So they move to the outside, and they're looking to make a run. Just earlier, we were talking about just a few cars on the outside. That did not last long. People, it's safe, it's easy, cruising single file, but I think maybe people sometimes get a little bored. We've also got some lap traffic coming up that they are going to be coming on.
Is this, who is this up here? Is this Paul
Looks
Turner
like
that they're
number
coming
4,
up on,
Paul
or?
Turner, and he's running the bottom line. He's going off track.
He's going to go to the apron and let them by.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with Paul, if he was caught up with something at the beginning or maybe missed the start with some computer errors or something, but he's going to squeeze back in here. They're going to be 3 wide for a minute with Paul. Looks like everybody makes it through okay, though.
Yeah, he'll hopefully just link in with this group. He'll be able to be on pace once he's back in the draft. Maybe hoping for a yellow, get himself a wave around.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be the only car one lap down now, though. However, uh, Coleridge, Fenimore, and Steven Music are about half a lap behind the leaders here. I just don't think a two truck tandem like that is going to be able to keep up with a giant pack. It looks
No.
like the last lap times the leaders were running 48.1s. They were running in the 50-second range. It's going to be just a matter of time before they get caught up.
Yeah, I think that again, I don't know if it was strategy or what, but oh, we got a car getting loose in the background there. Did not see who it was, but they were, looks like it was the 57 of Ray. He got a little bit loose, kind of wiggled, but saved it.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go.
looking like these trucks aren't handling the best right now. Especially off the exit of the corner, it looks like the air's just buffeting them around a little bit more than they'd really like right now.
Yeah, it's a fixed setup league. They're using the iRacing setup, so it's something, they're all using the same setup. It's something that they all should have been practicing in the sense of it's out there and it's in every open series there is. So shouldn't really be any surprises in terms of the setup.
Now, shouldn't be, but sometimes these trucks handle a little bit different if the setup was built for a hot track, and here we are at nighttime. Current track temp is probably pretty low. Looks like 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 75 air temp. Cooler track, maybe a little more front grip than they thought about. The rear end wants to slide around a little bit more. Who knows? But we are 2x2 all the way throughout the front half of the pack here.
Yeah, I know that they are going to be changing a little bit, but we're 13 laps in. Let's do a quick rundown here. First place, we've got Scott Clemens Baker. Second, Crank Bell. Andrew Caldwell in third. Andy Cork. Joey Signs in fifth, followed by Corey Sherman, Kyle Nadeau, Judd Danielson, and George Cushman in 10th.
Yeah, it looks like Neil Hill's there in 9th. Also, Cody Meadows in 11th. Jackie Brannon 12th. Garrett Johnston, Mike Stiverson, Ray Richer. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name there, sir. Stephen Hine, Jonathan Ellis, William Kern, Alan Ayers in 19th, and Chris Wold up 4 spots in 20th.
21st is Carter Lawson, Roscoe Coblentz, Chris Dorsey, Gary Bowman, Dave Gainforth, Chris Harefield, Brian Dorsey. These guys are all single file, making it much easier to call out those positions. Mark Morton back in 28th, John Ross, and Doug Wysocki.
Yeah, Matt Kopp in 31st. Adam Benefield up 8 spots in 32nd. Mike Donahue in 33rd. Kevin Fetty 34th. Eric Anderson back in 35th after qualifying on the pole. Larry Koblenz 36th. Daniel Koblenz 37th. Coleridge Fenimore 38th. Steven Music 39th. And our lone car one lap down, Paul Turner.
Right there in the middle of the field. We've had a new leader, Crank Bell, while we were going through the field. Found his way up to the front on that bottom line.
Yeah, we saw him making an aggressive move out to the outside to get the outside lane rolling. Looks like it worked for him as he was able to take the lead, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to lead this lap. That outside line is getting a good push. Andy Cork takes it at the stripe.
So we are 16. We're on lap 16 right now. I think they've only got about 3 laps till we start seeing some pits. Do you think anybody's going to come down early?
I don't think so. I think you're going to run this as long as you possibly can. Now, most of these guys, none of these guys have been leading the entire time. So I think all of them are probably going to be able to make it to lap 19, maybe lap 20. Andy Cork goes down to the bottom in front of Crank to take the lead there. On the bottom, gets a little shove from him going into 3. I think you're probably going to see the first cars pitting starting around lap 20. Given how little some of these guys have been out up front, I know they've been pushing. We were told 19 laps was pretty much guaranteed if you were out front the entire time. I think lap 20, lap 21, you're going to start see the groups pit. You might have a couple that were stuck out front come a little bit earlier at lap 19.
So it's interesting, Cody. You and I have raced together a lot, and you know me in these cases. I typically want to stay out long and see if a yellow comes. But first through 20th are within 2 seconds of each other. In this particular case, I'm not so sure I wouldn't want to pit early and make sure I'm not part of the big group that's pitting.
Yeah, but it all depends on where your friends are. If you have
True.
friends around you, absolutely. If you have a couple buddies that are right there with you that aren't too far back, by all means, I think you're right. If it's going to make it inside your window, as long as it's not going to make you make an extra stop, pitting early is usually what my call is. I like to be the first one on pit road. And then, I mean, if a yellow comes out, if you're the first one on pit road and a yellow comes out, you cycle to the front, especially at a track like this. It's big enough where you won't lose a lap. It may change later on in the season when we're at some 1.5 miles, and especially at short tracks where you'll lose 1, maybe even 2 or 3 laps. But here, it's long enough that you can pit, come out, and not be a lap down.
Yeah,
Which,
you're
first one on pit road is good. That's
Yeah.
I think in this situation you're right. First on pit road is going to be the way to go. But I don't know that anybody's going to come in at lap 19. I think you're going to see most of them pushing to lap 20 or 21.
That is interesting. Although they are pretty much single file now, which is a sign that they know they've got to get to the bottom because they are going to have to pit soon. We've just got looks like on the outside we got Judd and George. They're leading that outside charge still.
Yeah, it looks like Eric Anderson is coming to pit road this time.
Yeah, and he's coming in by himself, I think, which, as you said, you've got to have friends. That's going to be a struggle for him if he doesn't come out in the group.
Yeah, I mean, the only way it works out good for him, I think, is if a caution comes out while he's coming out of pit road. While the rest of the group pits, if a caution comes out, then he's going to cycle back up to the lead. That is going to be the only way this works out good for him. Looks like we got the 20, 26, the 12, the 42, bunch of cars coming to pit road this time.
Let's see if we can take a look and see how they roll in here.
You can see Crank going to stay on the outside there. Some other trucks are coming in. Nobody up front except for Andy Cork. The rest of them are all from the back side coming into pit road. Looks like we've got about 8 or 9 trucks that came in this time.
They all looked like they came in pretty good. I didn't see anything there that was concerning in terms of.
Yeah, I didn't see any lockups. Didn't see anything. Looks like the rest of the group is calling out they're going to be coming this time though. And you got 10 or 12 trucks out front here in the main draft. We'll see if they can get on pit road clear here as well. See how this cycles out for everybody.
Yeah, we've got them all single file here up on the front, looking like they are getting ready to come down and pit.
Yeah, big group coming to pit road this time. 3, 4 wide coming in. Looks like 1 truck in the grass.
Oh, number 7 there. George
Yep, but he
Cushman
made it back on.
That is
probably
a
have a
busy
penalty
pit
for an
road.
unsafe entry, but it is a very busy pit road. Looked like the only major incident though was for the 7. That will probably be a black flag for an unsafe pit entry. I don't think he ever made the cone, went straight through the grass and made it in that way.
That puts Garrett Johnson in the lead with Mike Stiverson, Stephen Hine there. They are not formed up very well. Mike has given Garrett a push as best he can, but the rest of the pack has fallen back. That's going to be a problem if they can't have a good pit, and hopefully they don't come out and lose that draft.
Yeah, looks like we got that big group on pit road coming off right now. I'm looking at Cody Meadows, Kyle Nadeau, Andrew Caldwell, Joey Signs all lined up here with Chris Wold and Scott Clemens Baker behind them. Looks like they're formed up really good coming off of pit road, though.
Yeah,
they
got
had a pretty decent stop. Also, all their pit stop times were some of the fastest on that time.
Yeah,
Looks
interesting. Interesting mix.
8-second pit stops.
Yeah, we had some fuels and probably right side tires. We had some take 4 tires.
Yeah, I don't think at Daytona here the tires are really going to be worth it, especially in these cold temperatures. But it may. We saw how loose some of these trucks were getting coming off of the corner as we're now finishing lap 21.
Yeah, it could also
Looks
be,
like-
you know how it is. It could also be the crew chief just didn't click the right box.
Yeah, and sometimes the crew chief clicks the right box and it still doesn't matter. That iRacing decides it wants to do its own thing anyway, and iRacing is going to give you tires.
Yep.
You mentioned how unformed up Mike Stiverson and them were. You can see the pack just come blowing by him right now, unable to have that speed coming onto pit road and then getting swallowed up as they come off of pit road. But Crank with a blistering stop comes out back in the lead again. Joey Signs pushing him.
Yeah, they've almost have too much of a lead. You can see here the gap of the trucks, coming in right behind them, although they did check up and they're staying single file.
my correction. It looks like that was Paul Turner pushing Crank, the lap
Yeah.
down car.
Yeah.
I believe they are teammates though, so that does make sense. Joey Sainz caught up to him, had a big run, decided to check it up instead and just kind of ride here single file. Looks like pit cycle has completed. What do we got here? 2 separate groups. It looks like top 17, about a 2-second gap ahead of, looks like 18th through, well, give or take 29th or so, and then a big gap to 30th on back. And it looks like some broken up groups back there.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different groups now as a result of that pit cycle. So let's go through our top 10 real quick. Crank Bell, Joey Sainz, Andrew Caldwell, Kyle Nadeau, Cody Meadows, Chris World up to 6th. Scott Clements Baker, Chris Dorsey, Alan Ayers, and Neil Hell. They're your top 10. They're single file. They're up there in that front pack. There's about 10 more in that pack until we drop back to that second pack. I can't tell if the second pack is catching. They do seem to be running pretty fast. I don't know if they're going to catch up to this lead pack or not, though.
Yeah, it looks like they're green to them, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not as they catch some lap cars. Leaders catch some lap cars here, go to the outside. Looks like 3 cars there now putting a lap down.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if those lap cars are going to try and roll in with the group, but they're staying low so far. But they are getting some momentum built.
Yeah, they are. Now they're mixing it up with the rest of them. It kind of broke that lead pack up a little bit. No Lane really has the momentum, but Paul Turner, Joey Sainz giving Crank a big push out front there. We know they work well together at super speedways. It always seems like Crank finds his way to the front at these kind of tracks, and here he is leading laps again.
Yeah, and I think Paul's happy pushing him right now because that gives him the lucky dog or the wave around. Although on the outside right now, we've got Kyle pushing Coleridge. Coleridge is a lap down as well, so he wants to, A, get his lap back, or B, at least be that lucky dog in the event of a yellow.
Yeah, I don't think with the limited fuel and everything, a wave around is a optimal strategy here. If you take the wave around, you're going to have less fuel than everybody else around you, and you're basically hoping for another caution so you can come in pit, get topped off on fuel. I think Lucky Dog is going to be your best bet to try to get back on the lead lap if you are a lap down.
Yeah, Kyle bailed and left Coleridge by himself.
Little contact there. Looked like it was between Coleridge and whoever it was on the bottom there. I can't quite tell. A little contact coming out of 2. Nothing major, just a little door rub.
That's George Cushman now behind Coleridge trying to give him a push. George is also a lap down.
Yeah, probably with a penalty from that unsafe pit entry through the grass. Luckily, though, new grass, he was able to keep the truck under control and make it on the pit road without causing a better incident. Oh, tried to come up in front of Coleridge, but not enough room there.
They just don't, these trucks just don't have any help there on the outside. Coleridge comes down, gets in line. He realizes that he's just going to lose some spots staying on the outside.
Yeah, the 7's got a gap underneath, but it's going to close quickly. His next gap is going to be 3 or 4 trucks back. He's just going to keep falling further and further behind. He's going to need to get to the bottom line and get back in that draft though before he gets swallowed up by this entire pack and loses the draft. But every time those trucks get a good run, it's going to fill that gap. He's trying to side draft to get slotted in, but I don't know that he's going to be able to make it.
No, those holes clean up pretty tightly, pretty quickly. So you've got to be pretty aggressive at dropping down in there.
Yeah, as we are now 27 laps complete, running lap 28 of 65. It's been a pretty exciting race so far, Jerry. Although now they're all single file. I think they're going to ride this way probably till the next pit stop. You got to mix of lap cars and lead lap cars in here. I say that, and Andy Cork is too wide back of this group. Yeah,
it was. Everybody was, I think, had the adrenaline rush from the start of the season. A lot of double file racing that first set of laps. Looks like it's settled down. People are willing to cruise. I think part of it is there was no yellows that first stint. And so people are like, okay, we're not going to have yellows. So I now know I don't have to rush to get to the front. I can cruise at 8th, 9th, 10th spot and just wait until my next pit stop.
Oh, absolutely. I think one thing that's going to happen, though, if these trucks continue to run double file back here, they're going to continue to lose the front, but it's going to bring that second pack into it. I know we talked about it. Their last lap was about a second slower than the leaders were running, but if these trucks get double file up here, you're going to see that slow down the entire pack and give those guys back there a chance to catch back up.
Yeah, that's the thing. You work so hard to build a lead, and then you've got to get single file and be patient, and then expand that lead. But somehow people, myself included, just get a little impatient. We want to move up a couple spots, and it just slows the whole pack down.
Look, I get it. We're racers. Sitting in line, riding behind somebody isn't what we do. We want to pass them. We want to be where Crank's at, out front, clean air on the nose, teammate pushing you behind. You know, that's the best place to be. Sitting back in the pack is not fun to do, but sometimes it's what you need to do.
Yeah, Coleridge pulled to the outside. He's trying to side draft his way back up to get that lucky dog position. He knows how important it is. But he's got
Not only
no
that,
help.
trying to take his lap back the hard way. If he can get in front of Crank and ride in front of him there, he'll be the tail end of the lead lap if a caution does happen to come out.
Yeah, he unfortunately, though, nobody went with him. Nobody's giving him any help. He was able to side draft up a little bit, but now he's just falling back. He's got to get back in line pretty quick here.
Look, everybody knows how good Coleridge is here. I think they're not going to give him any help. They're going to want to keep him a lap down. Coleridge is a threat to win any vehicle, any track, any week. The more you can put guys like that a lap down and keep them a lap down, the better your chances are of winning this race.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I raced and Coleridge wasn't a part of it. I thought because he was in the back, and then at the end, there he is leading.
I don't know how many times Coleridge hasn't qualified, and I thought everything was fine, only after the first pit stop to find him 5 seconds behind me.
Yeah.
He is crazy good, and I think that's why they are not going to help him get a lap back here. Yeah, he does have the 7 pushing him here. They squeeze the 36 down to the bottom. That lifts and gives him room.
That was interesting because 7 came up, tried to push Coleridge, and it's like Coleridge was like, no, I don't want that. Leave me alone. Pulled back down, and now he's back out.
I don't know if maybe he's trying to learn something on when to time a run, hoping he gets back on the lead lap later. And if you're a lap down, it's a good thing to do. See if you can time a run, see how far up you can get without any help, see if you can hold somebody back without it. The side draft on these vehicles is powerful. Like I said, these things have no power. They are very draggy. You can dump air on that rear spoiler and slow him down. As he pulls in front there, was able to make up 2 positions in that line, 3 positions in that line, just by getting a run and side drafting his way up there, as he's going to move forward again.
And we've got some cars in the background here. Oh, little contact that are starting to say, okay, it's time to make a little bit of a rush on that outside line. Let's see if they come and help Coleridge.
Yeah, unfortunately for that second group, led by Eric Anderson back there in 18th, they are just falling further and further back. Now 10 seconds behind the lead group here. Just unable to get the speed going here. Everybody's formed up good. You only have a couple cars on the outside of this one, but it's not enough to slow this pack down and bring them back into that second group. They're going to be hoping for a caution to be able to try to get back into this thing.
Yeah, that second group is 2x2 for at least 6 cars, and that's
3 wide here with
him.
Coleridge on top. He's going back a little bit more. Said I don't think he wants to lead an outside line. I think he's just trying to learn right now.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do. Even if you're not in contention here, it'll apply to other super speedways that you go to. Learn how your truck handles, learn how you can get runs, you know?
Absolutely.
That's one thing Coleridge does really good, and why he is such a good racer. He's always trying to learn something to make himself better, even if it's not in this race.
Yeah, and he also might be trying to set himself up to help out one of his teammates. I think that he's the kind of guy that'll, he knows that if he's, see him getting a little bit loose there. If he's not going to quite be where he wants to be on his race, he'll work hard to help his teammates out get where they need to be.
Absolutely.
Coming up,
it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see this time whether Crank has to pit early or not. They pit lap 20 the last time, but he's led the majority of this stint. I think that's going to have a difference in what lap he can get there as they go 3 wide with Coleridge in the lap traffic. But I think it's going to make a difference in how far he's going to be able to get But
Yeah.
lap 39 is enough to make it. Again, 65 laps this race. Lap 39 would leave him with about 17 laps to go. Or am I doing my math wrong? Is it
Nope,
27
you're
laps?
right. You should be good. And then Crank, as you said, he's been leading the most laps, but this stint, but he's got his teammates there with him that if they pit with him and they can come out clean together, they can make a good run.
Well, you know what? Mike's not the only one that can't do math, and neither is Chris, because we can't either. It'd actually be 25 laps to go if they pit on lap 40.
Oh,
So they would. They have
65, absolutely.
two more pit stops to go still.
Long
But you know
ways
what
to
we
go.
missed? Cross flags. 3 laps ago was the halfway mark of this race, already flying by.
No cautions, nice clean race. Everybody's been for the most part, pretty patient. The little 3 wide here or there. I don't think we're going to see that at the end. I think at the end it's going to get pretty aggressive. We're going to see some 3 wide racing.
I do too. It depends on where your teammates are and where's lined up. Like I believe we have 3 teammates out front. The lap car of Paul Turner in between Joey Sainz and Crank Bell.
Look at this run Coleridge has right now. He's getting a push.
Finally decided to accept the push from the 7 and made it all the way up to Crank's quarter panel, but Crank is going to stay clear of him for now.
Yeah, they had a huge run there for a minute. The 7's kind of wiggling in and out a little bit. If he can get that cleaned up, they might be able to actually make a run. Get down side draft. I don't know that he'll be able to clear him, but he'll certainly be able to catch up to him.
Crank may want him to clear him. If he wants to save a little bit of fuel, make it a little bit further. I know he doesn't need to, but maybe he doesn't want to burn that much. Maybe he wants a little buffer for a green-white checker at the end of this.
Yeah, I mean, the reason he may not want to burn as much fuel is because he wants to pit with his teammates. They have more fuel, and, you know, I would think his teammates would still come down with him, but he may be thinking, I want to run a little bit longer and make sure that if there's a caution while pitting, that I'm still out on track.
And not only that, but it makes your final stop quicker. If the longer you can go this cycle and the cycle before, the less fuel you need on that final stop and the quicker you can get on and off pit road.
Absolutely. And those microseconds or just a couple seconds make a big difference at a super speedway.
Absolutely, they do.
So these guys are 2x2 up front, and then it's mostly single file, and they are coming up on some lap traffic. So this might be the first 3 wide we're going to see here as they hit this lap traffic ahead, probably in, 2 or 3 laps.
I just heard the 8 and the 22. Looks like the 23 needs to come to the inside the pit, and he has no hole to get down there right now. Is he going to be able to make it to the bottom?
Looks like he's forced his way, if you want to call it that, down.
He was asking for help to let him in, and somebody actually let him in.
They did. They let him in. He made a clean pit, but nobody is pitting with him.
Yeah, he's going to just go further down than what he already was. Hopefully these guys can go another lap or 2, maybe pick him back up. His race was already pretty much over if we stayed green, so it was worth it trying to push what you did. He learned a little bit, I'm sure, learning how the side draft worked, learning how the runs worked. The 9, the 4, and the 14 are pitting this time, so leaders will be coming on pit road this time.
Let's see if
The
they can.
entire front group looks like they are pitting this time. It's going to be another busy pit road.
See if they can make it cleanly again. Last time we had one little car had it in the grass, but everybody else made it okay. See how this pit cycle goes.
A fan out coming to pit road here. Looks like everybody's going to be good. I don't see any tire smoke. Don't see any lockups. As long as everybody, little contact there.
Somebody trying to get down into their pit stall. I don't think that's going to be a lot of damage, but on the super speedways, you just don't know.
No, second group also coming to pit road. Looks like Eric's a little hot. Did he make it on pit road in time? I don't see any black flags yet.
So our leaders right now are on a roll. Kyle Nadeau, Cody Meadows, Garrett Johnson, Chris Wold, and Scott Clements Baker leading this pack. They are on a roll right here. Let's see if they.
We have a car sideways on pit road right now. Coming out of his pit stall, I didn't see who it was. I just saw a car sideways across pit road trying to leave his stall. Another group coming to pit road.
Kyle and Cody stayed out together, the 2 of them.
They will be pitting this time. I just called they will be pitting this time. I believe Chris is going to be coming with them. Chris all the way up to 4th place here. So much for riding in the back, huh?
Yeah, he rode in the back long enough. It's time. It's not quite time to go, but we're 25 laps left to go, so it's getting close.
Looks like these 7 trucks that are leading right now are all coming down pit road at the same time. So they have a slow truck on the... Oh, yeah. This is going to be interesting.
I don't see... It looks like they're... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, the 33 came in a little hot, saw a little bit of a lockup. Cody Meadows, I don't know if he's got a black flag, but it didn't look like he was that hard on the binders. He should be okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything come up just yet.
So that
looks like everybody made it in okay.
Yeah, that puts Crank Bell ahead of, or in the lead, if you will, for everybody else that is not in the pits. Let's see where he comes out in comparison with these guys in the pits. They have made their stops and they are rolling.
Yeah, this merge was going to be interesting because that group is broken up. Now he has the help of Joey Sainz and Paul Turner there with him, but they are not broken up. They don't have as big of a group as they had before. Looks like Kyle and Cody and that group are coming off a pit road right now. Where's Crank at?
Crank looks like they are in the 1 and 2, coming around the corner now, and we should be able to...
They are at the blue line. Yeah, they are merging onto the back straight for Kyle and Cody.
They've got a good run. You see them on the outside here. You see how much faster they are than the other guys. They're staying up high. Let's see just how far they can go, though.
But I don't know that they're going to have enough momentum to get around these 4 trucks that are out front.
They still have a good run right now.
Oh, Garrett's going to come up and throw a big block. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead.
Oh, no!
Wrecking behind, wrecking on the pit road. Kyle's around. Cody made contact. Was that the 4 of Paul Turner that came down there? No caution yet. There's the caution out. Car stopped on the track. Oh, big damage to everybody behind us. Paul Turner stopped on the track and gets T-boned by other vehicles.
Oh, yeah, he is just dead on the track there. I think his truck, yeah, he towed. His truck is...
Oh, that was devastating. Crank made an aggressive move to go 3 wide as the Garrett Johnson threw the block. His pushers went to go with him. Jerry, let's see if we can wind this back and look at it again, see what happened.
Yeah, I don't, we can see it here. Let me back it up just a little bit. This is kind of where it all started. Looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if Kyle was coming to pit road for a penalty or something, but or if he was just trying to get out of the way. But the 4, I think was trying to fill that hole, and Cody was there. And then just comes across the track and parks it. It's a really odd place for the 4 to be parked on the middle of the track. And man, the second group coming through just wasn't expecting him to be there and just murders him into the middle. It's a shame for that second pack coming through there. I'm not sure why Paul drove it up on the track or why it was sitting up on there, but that was completely, that was so bad for that back group. I feel so sorry for them.
Yeah, I think Paul just had a kind of in the big damage from the wall right there.
Unable to stop.
Yeah, it probably broke a brake line or something, and just once it stopped, he was probably trying to tow and just didn't get the button pressed.
That little group got through with some wall contact and everything, but the second group just couldn't get moved out of the way in time and just finishes him off. I'm sure he was already broken, but just finished him off already. Anyway, our first caution comes out lap 43, currently running lap 44 here. The trucks are all lined up behind our pace truck right now. See if we have any takers on the pit road. See if anybody had any damage from that.
Oh,
looks like our leader is coming in. Leader is coming in.
9, 10. Let's see if everybody else follows.
This is going to be close on your fuel. You're going to be starting lap 25 or 45 as we come here with 21 to go. If you save a little bit under caution, it's going to be tight, but this could get you to the end of the race from here.
This is going to make it interesting. We do have a couple cars that stayed out. But as you said, I think that we're going to see a race to see who can be 4th in line. The top 2, maybe even 3, may or may not be able to save enough fuel. If you're 4th or 5th in line, I think you'll be able to save enough fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to you're going to see them start checking these lines up. And it looks like everybody pit. The 2 cars there in front there may be taking the wave around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be taking the wave around. Crank Bell maintains the lead here. Joey Signs behind. Scott Clemens Baker. Cody Meadows in 4th. Chris Wold 5th. Chris Harefield 6th. Andy Cork 7th. Garrett Johnson 8th. Mike Stiverson 9th. Andrew Caldwell 10th. I just figured this would be a good time to go down the lineup.
Absolutely. You've got Carter Lawson 11, Gary Bowman 12, Jackie Brannon, William Kern, John Ross. 16th is Brian Dorsey, Ray Richard, David Gain 4th, Stephen Hine, and Jonathan Ellis in 20th.
Yeah, 21st is going to be Corey Sherman, followed by Doug Wasaki, Daniel Koblenz, Kyle Nadeau, Neil Hale, who's still on pit road right now getting some damage fix. It looks like Mark Morton also on pit road getting some damage fix. Leroy Koblenz, Alan Ayers, Kevin Fetty, and Mike Donahue in 30th.
31st, Matt Kopp, Stephen Music, Coleridge Finneymoore in 33rd. And then we've got some trucks that are in the pits getting some repairs, trying to get their truck fixed so they can come back out. So Crank Bell is going to be our leader. Joey Signs, Scott Clemens Baker, Cody Meadows, those guys. Those are guys to me that want to lead, that they want to be up front. It's going to be interesting to see how bad they really want to lead if they're going to have to save fuel. I know.
Yeah, I don't think you can lead every lap here and save enough fuel to make it to the end. Looks like the lights on the pace truck are out, so we're going to be going green with 19 to go.
Yeah, I'm in Crank's
18
car
to
right
go.
now. He's definitely clutching it. He doesn't have it turned off, but he is clutching it.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to save a little bit here. I just don't know that you're going to be able to make it and lead these lines without getting some massive runs on the outside. Now you can run, 90%, 95% throttle down the backstretch in the corners, save a little bit of fuel that way and still lead, but everybody behind you has to be okay with that as well. You may be fine with that for the first 5 or 10 laps, but I think if they're still doing it at lap 55, you're going to see runs start being generated from the outside that are going to be bigger than what we've seen so far.
Absolutely. So everybody's bunched up here. Still got some guys who had some repairs kind of catching up to the field, but let's see how hard they go these next few laps. I think this is going to be telling as to, whether Crank kind of slows up and hopes somebody drops down in front of him or what he does.
Yeah, but we're going to get a reset here. Restack them, re-rack them. We're going to have a restart here with less than 20 to go. First restart of the season here. I think you're going to see a lot more aggression this time than what you did the start before, the initial start.
Well, you say that, but then you got this fuel issue. So it'll be interesting. I don't know whether they just go balls out and 3 wide, or whether they all just kind of hang back and wait for the last 10 laps.
Yeah, it's a fine line you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to figure out. Looks like Pace Truck is getting ready to make that left-hand turn off there. Got some gaps here. Nobody's really tightened up too much here for a good start. They start to pull back together. Green flag is out.
Crank with a good run on the bottom.
Yeah,
Scott Clemens
the gap
Baker
was filled.
Yeah, right
I
there.
think Joey wanted to. I think he wanted to be there with his teammate, but Scott Clemens Baker was able to pull that gap, and now Joey's going to go to the front on the outside lane, getting a good push out there.
Yeah, you look how close Crank is to Scott Clemens Baker. I think Crank may have slowed up just a little bit, get Joey in front of him. Now Crank can save some fuel.
Look, super speedway racing is all about a team game. You can't hate it,
Yeah.
Looks like Cody Meadows, the name we haven't said much this year, is going to be on the outside line here.
Yeah, he's a guy.
He's clear. He's going to come down on the bottom and take that lead from Joey Signs, but the outside line continues to roll.
It does, yeah. Cody Meadows is a guy, like I say, who probably wants to lead. He doesn't know anything but one speed, and that's all out. But again, it almost looks like they laid off and let somebody else take the lead. The thing is, if you're Crank, now look at Crank. He's already 4th back in the bottom, and the top line is still rolling. That's the bad part about this. If you're Crank, is you wanted to let 1 or 2 cars get in front of you, not 10.
Right, and now you've let 5 on the bottom, plus the outside line that continues to roll around you. We have a new leader out front, Garrett Johnston. We saw him was in front of that wreck coming off of turn 4 right at pit entry there. But I'm wondering if now Crank went from, maybe Crank's entire decision was a safe fuel the entire time. This is all going according to plan. I don't think so. Knowing Crank, I bet he would rather be the second car, third car out there. But we've got some big gaps in between the cars here. You got to think that some of these guys are saving fuel.
Yeah, you would. And then you got Coleridge, who was taking it 3 wide, trying to get his lap back. Oh, has a block come up right in front of him.
Big check
He's
up on the
pushing
outside line.
hard.
A big, wrecking out front, wrecking out the. They are wrecked. I don't know if it's going to bring out a caution though.
Yeah, I don't see it on the.
I don't see any caution. We are still green. There were 2 or 3 cars at least that were involved in that. We are still 3 wide in that pack up front. They're starting to settle it back down to 2.
Yeah, it looks like they went off track. Scott Clements Baker, big hit into the wall. But he was far enough off track, it did not cause a yellow.
We still have Gary Bowman up front, Garrett Johnson in second here. The pack's 2 by 2 behind him there. Front 3 cars on the inside lane getting a really good push right now, though.
Yeah, Gary Bowman up front's a guy we have not talked about tonight that we're usually talking about running in the top 5 of any series. So he has probably done exactly what he wants to do. Fly safe, fly under the radar. Now we've got 16 to go. He's in the lead.
Gary Bowman is a silent guy. You won't hear anybody speak about him all night, but then next thing you know, he's going to be second, third place behind you the entire time. You may not even realize he's there. He's quiet, works his way up, doesn't make a lot of noise as he's going there, but has speed everywhere we go.
Yeah, these guys are 2 by 2. At least 10 to 15 rows back. Man, it just doesn't look like they're saving fuel now.
No, not at all. As we're going to have 15 to go coming at the line here, and they are side by side with some big pushes from the front 2 trucks.
Yeah, William Kern, new leader on the outside with Chris Wald pushing him. And yeah, I just don't see any gaps. We talked about...
And don't look away from Chris either. Chris won our Cyber 500 this year. He's a great racer, really, really good super speedway racer, knows when to make some smart decisions. I said he started in 24th, was running as far back in the 30s right now, and now running second place, leading that outside line, getting a really big push from Cody Meadows.
Absolutely, but I'll tell you, our biggest mover tonight is the 34, Jonathan Ellis, up 35 spots from his start. Here he is now he's in battling 4th place right now.
Yeah, if you look at the leaderboard, Chris Wold now leading that inside line. Cody tucked in behind him there, up 23 spots. Jonathan Ellis up 36 now, like you said, in 3rd. John Ross up 22 spots. You have Daniel Koblenz up 27. A lot of big movers at the super speedway.
So I'm seeing a trend here, Cody. I'm seeing this outside line get a run. Once they get ahead, the top car or 2 drops down to the bottom line. At what point do you just say, hey, this top line's pretty good, let's just keep running it?
I think it's fear that you're going to have somebody take you 3 wide. That's the problem with running the outside, is if you're not right on the inside line's door panel going through the corners, you run the risk of the guy behind you taking you 3 wide and you're stuck on the outside with no help. It takes a lot of trust of the guys behind you, and this is the first race of the season. Some of these guys may not trust the people behind them to not take them 3 wide. I think it's just safer to be on the bottom. You only have 1 lane to worry about. You hug that yellow line. Whoever's outside of you is outside of you. There's no worrying about being shoved 3 wide.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about being left out to dry on the bottom.
But you're seeing these cars. Look how close they're side drafting in the corners here, trying to get that inside line pulled back. Front 2 cars in both rows have great pushes right now. 3rd car is about a half a truck back. We got a little bit of a blinker there, and 4th in line on the outside.
We're in the nose here of John Ross pushing, and you can't see anything. All you see is the front bumper. He is just pushing really hard.
Yeah, they have a 3-car breakaway both lines. I say that 3-car breakaway both lines. The outside line is only 3 trucks right now. Big block right there on the outside, about 5 trucks back, and we're going to have a huge run coming to these front 3. Inside lane is holding its own. You were talking about they were clearing. Oh, there's going to be trying to squeeze him down. Squeezed him down and was able to get in front of him. I do not think that Chris is going to be very happy with that move, though, as he gives him a big shove coming out of 2 down the backstretch.
Yeah, this is getting, we're 12 to go right now. It's getting a little crazy. I think it's just going to get a little crazier.
Yeah, like I said, the side drafts are getting bigger. The shoves are getting bigger. This is, I said it was going to, intensity was going to start ramping up, and it is. But look who's back, way back there, who may be still saving fuel. Crank's now 12th, 13th car on the bottom line. He's not anywhere near the front now. Is he biding his time, hoping to avoid a wreck, or what's going on with him?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, you talked about running the bottom, you feel a little safer, that sort of thing. But the problem is, if like where he was, where he just keeps getting rotated back, sometimes it's really hard to find a spot in that top line to earn your spot back.
Right, and even right now, like he can get a small run and move outside, and he's going to take that run along with his teammate to the outside line. Looks like they pulled the 18 along with him, though. I don't know if that's what they wanted to do. And now they are going to be 2x2 all the way back to the pack. We saw a little bit of single file there, but we are coming to 10 to go at the line.
New leader up front, John Ross.
Who's trying to run both lanes. Big block to the outside, going to go back down and block the inside lane. Usually doesn't work out here. You can see it in real life, but in iRacing, usually the runs come too quick for you to be able to run both lines. It usually ends up in a wreck.
Yeah, Garrett Johnston pushing the 65 of Jackie Brannon really hard right there. 2x2x2x2, 10 back.
Squeezed him up a little bit. Got a little loose on the inside line. No contact, though. Big shove. Swallowing back and ride. They want to shove him 3 wide. Ends up tucking back in line, but the front 2 on the outside line are going to clear the bottom. That shoves Chris Wold, our former leader, all the way back to 5th on the bottom now, but they're going to try to take some momentum from that outside. John Ross is going to move up and side draft him, get a run on that outside, try to take the push and go back to the lead.
We are under 10 to go now. You're starting to see these front guys jockey for position. They know it's coming to the end of the first race. Everybody wants to win the home opener.
Not only that, I believe lock themselves into the playoffs, and like everybody's still a win and you're in this series. But not only at the front, you're seeing the pushes start generating from the back. Runs are generating farther back. People aren't being as nice as they were 40 laps ago. They're starting to want to shove people 3 wide, starting to close the door a little harder than they were. And intensity through the field ramping up all over the place.
Yeah, and with that caution we had, there's 25 cars within just about 2 seconds of the leader. So we've got a really big pack here that's battling for that win.
Yeah, still anybody's race right now. Just completed lap 57, running lap 58. We have got 8 to go.
It doesn't
Not good at math, Jerry.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's saving fuel. I don't see anything to indicate they are, so I'm wondering if they can all make it or not.
We're going to find out pretty soon, aren't we? If not, it's going to be a bad day if they are stuck on the top. Maybe a bad day for more people, too.
Absolutely. Although things have actually settled down now. They're 2x2 now, and just
we do have
now
some
they are
people
cruising.
coming to pit road, it sounded like. Look for maybe a couple people to pit?
Yes, in the back of the pack there. Looks like Leroy Coblentz, Alan Ayers, Daniel Coblentz all pit, the 3 of them.
I'm gonna guess they were guys that took the wave around.
Yes.
Were able to get back on the lead lap and just hoping for a quick caution to be able to fuel up and make it to the end and not able to. It was worth a shot. I mean, anything can happen at these super speedways. One caution, you know what they say, cautions breed cautions.
I think that they're starting to understand they may need to save a little fuel. You've got on that outside line there, they're just not pushing quite as hard. Garrett down at the bottom is pushing not quite as hard as he was. They're staying close, they're staying tight, but they aren't bumper to bumper. And I think it's
we are coming up on lap traffic. Kyle's going to go to the bottom, get out of everybody's way, able to make a pretty good save there on the bottom, going through the grass just to get out of their way on corner exit. Knows he's not a part of this race right now and doesn't want to influence it in any way possible with 6 to go. And you say that the outside line's starting to form up a little bit more. Everything's tightening up a little bit. Inside line has the momentum right now. They're going to be 3 wide in the middle of 2. They're checking up, trying to let him back in the line. It's going to stack up everybody in the back.
It's very, very gentlemanly racing tonight. Somebody gets out of line, they've been willing to let them back in. But you can see it's 2x2.
I'm surprised coming to 5 to go that they're not being a little bit more aggressive. trying to shove those by. We say that the leader of the outside lane is right on the door panel. It's going to suck him up a little bit. They're loose out of 4, but everybody saves it. Still side by side coming to 5 to go.
That's some side drafting that a little dangerous in iRacing with netcode and some other. Sometimes these trucks will just stick together and you can't get them apart.
Yeah, I think that's what happened, is that maybe even not even netcode just took the air off of the truck and pulled him up there with it. These trucks are so aero dependent everywhere, and especially here, just a little bit of air off of it can cause it to go one way or the other and be under no control at all, as we see him going 3 wide.
We're starting to see a run.
It's go
here.
time.
Yep. It's go time with 5
They're going to be
go.
3 wide to the second row. Can they make it? Looks like they're going to hang that out. The outside lane is going to come to the middle, tight 3 wide. They're wiggling back and forth with a big push coming out of 4. We're going to have 4 to go coming to the line.
Oh, 25 gets a little loose. Are they going to let him back in? He does.
They let him back in. It's going to cause a checkup on that bottom line. They're going to be 3 wide pushing. 1 car wrecking on the inside.
That's the 18
Looks like he
car.
keeps it under control. Keeps it under control if he can get back up on the track. Still 3 wide for 2 rows for the lead.
Here's what we want to see at Daytona. It's 3 wide truck racing, 3 by 3 by 3. Okay, 3 by 2.
2 by 3 by 3 now, but it's coming.
Yeah, that
outside lane has only got 2 trucks, though. It's not going to be able to last long. We've got 3 trucks pushing there. Inside lane's going to have another run. They made the decision to go to the outside. I don't know that was the right call.
Well, they're going to try. I think they agreed with you because they're trying to come back to the middle line, get some push in here. What do you do if you're the 3rd car back in the bottom line? You're just stuck.
His pusher got him shoved to the outside. We are now 3 by 3 by 3 coming to 3 to go. 3's the magic number, Jerry.
These guys are racing hard right now. I think we're going to see even more 3 by 3. Is that Crank there? Just right there in the middle? Yes, it is. He's big wreck.
Big. They save it. 4 wide.
Oh no!
Wrecking. Caution is out. Big wreck.
That's the big one
wreck.
right
That's
there.
That's going to show us into a green-white checker. That is definitely the big one. Looks like the top 4 or 5 got through that. Everybody else has some sort of damage from it. Man, they just weren't able to hold it for that long. The intensity ramped up. 3 wide for 3 rows. Jerry, you could just feel it that something was going to happen.
Yeah, they were racing really hard, really close together, a lot of bumping. You know, the first little bump or so you can handle, but once you kind of bump one way and get into the car on the other side, you're almost along for the ride to a certain degree.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go back, and if we can, and take a look at that again while everybody tries to catch up to the pace car.
Come on, catch up. Catch up. Pace car's out of speed.
Yeah, looks like. See if we can back it up from here.
Yeah, sorry, we got to do the old backup. We're not as smooth as Chris is, but they're actually 4 wide there. So here it's 3 by 3.
You can see whoever's leading the front line there. The 9 is giving him a good push. The 89 comes down, kind of takes the air off of his right rear, gets him a little bit loose. He tries to correct. Is at the 28, who gets into the 88 there, and they're 4 wide behind him. The 88 corrects it, but I just think the 30 doesn't realize they're 4 wide. It just runs out of room really quick. This isn't Talladega. There's not a lot of room. 89 and then make contact. I don't think there's anything they could have done about it right there, and it just collects everybody behind him. It looks like Crank made it through unscathed. So did Chris. Looks like Chris makes it through okay in the 32. Crank made it through okay as well, but everybody behind them is just stacked up. Like I don't think there's anybody really, and I'm sure there's somebody that would be found at fault, but I just think that's hard racing for. I mean, you're coming to 3 to go. You just took the 3 to go. Yeah. You're 3 wide for 3 lanes. It's just racing at Daytona.
I was looking for. I apologize. I don't have. Cockpit. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Let's see if I can get this cockpit cam for Chris. No, I can't. There we go. Let's watch him avoid this wreck.
Make it through this wreck. I just has to check out maybe a little bit of front end tap right there from Cody. Cody makes it through with not much damage either. They're just able to make it through. Crank gave him room. Everybody made it through, but that's got to be a little bit harrowing there. Why don't we pull Chris back up here and ask him how he felt about that? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me just a minute here. I got to find him first.
3.2.
Hey, Chris, we're back up here in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, giving out my gallons left.
I mean,
Safe fuel,
heard
safe
ya.
fuel.
Nobody heard us except, safe fuel. We'll be your spotter for a minute, okay? But how did you make it through that?
A whole lot of just closing my eyes and praying. A lot of heavy brakes.
I was going to say, that looked, from up here in the booth, it looked like it was getting hairy about 5 laps before that actually happened. Did you feel like something was going to happen there? Or were you just hoping that everybody could hold on? Or what was going through your mind before that accident?
Yeah, I could feel it starting to pick up. We were actually talking about how if we could try to get up and go 3 and just see if we can make some moves. But as soon as they got 3, it's much tighter here at Daytona 3 than Talladega 3. And it was probably a lap or 2 more than I thought. I thought as soon as we hit 3, it was going to be chaos. But we made it through.
We said 3 was the magic number. They were 3 wide for 3 rows with 3 to go coming to the line, and it only made it to turn 1. So I guess maybe 1 was the magic number instead. But glad to see you made it through. I mean, hey, you're up 13 spots. Looks like you're in 11th right now. We got 1 green, white checker. Do you have enough fuel to make it to the end? Are you going to be pushing, trying to make it, or what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I went in and topped off, but I'm kind of thinking I probably didn't need to. I think I could have saved it, but yeah, we're good to go here for this. So we got enough to be full throttle and see what kind of moves we can make.
Good. Well, we'll be looking forward to watching those moves in the booth. I'll send you back down to your guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
So we're going to have a green-white checker here, 3 to go. We've got a little bit of damage, some of the back of the field, but we still have well over 20 cars, 20 trucks here that are going to compete for this win. Even if you're in 10th, 11th, 12th, you've got a shot. It's Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everybody on the lead lap probably still has a shot depending on what happens. Now, we only have 1 green-white checker in this series. And as you can see, they are doubled up. The lights on the pace truck are out as they roll down the backstretch to take this green flag. So in case nobody knows, green-white checker rules, if the leader takes the white flag, they will come to the start-finish line and finish it under checkered. Now, in real-life racing, the next flag ends it. In iRacing, the next flag is the checkered as long as the leader takes the white. If the caution would happen to come out before the leader takes the white flag, the race is then over. It is scored as iRacing says. You fall in line, finish the lap under pacing, and that's your running order. So they're going to hope. I think a lot of these guys are going to take it easy until they take the white flag, because then they know they have 1 lap to make some crazy moves they need to without ending it prematurely.
Yeah, and we've got some names up front that we've talked a little bit about tonight, but not a lot about. Brian Dorsey, Alan Ayers, John Ross, Jackie Brannon, those top 4 guys we've not talked a lot about, and here they are in the top 4 ready to take a win at Daytona.
Yep, and the pace truck is going to be pulling off here. Pulling off for the final time as we were about to go green for green-white checker. Leader is in the restart zone. Green flag is out. Looks like the inside lane does not get a good run. I don't know if he sputtered or whatever, but the outside lane moved very good. Alan Ayers is going to be out front with the lead, clear by a truck length, getting a really good push from John Ross here on the outside lane.
Yeah, that outside lane is rocking and rolling right now. I'm wondering if he's going to try to drop to the bottom or just stay there. I'd kind of want to stay there with that great push, but they're getting a little wiggly. Oh, no!
3 wide, going to be a wreck behind. Caution is out.
Oh,
Big
this is
wreck
involving
behind.
a lot of cars.
Big wreck behind right there. Alan Ayers, I believe, is going to be scored your leader as the caution came out.
Wow, cars everywhere.
We thought the last one was the big one. This one is most definitely bigger than that one was. But Jerry, the way I'm seeing it is that Alan Ayers is going to be scored the leader, which means that Alan Ayers is going to win the opening night race of Tuesday Night Thunder.
Alan Ayers got that big win. We talked earlier that he'd been putting in a lot of time practice. He's seeing it pay off. Good for him. I don't think this is his first win, but it might be his first win in the trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan Ayers has been putting a lot of time in the offseason just trying to work on his racecraft and get faster, and as you can tell, it is definitely paying off. We'll have a final running order for you here soon, but
let's see
tentatively
if we take a quick look at that wreck while they are coming in.
Yeah,
they have to
absolutely.
finish their laps.
Yeah, let's go look and see what happens first. But Alan Ayers is going to be scored in first place and will be your winner of this. So I believe it looked like the 9 was pushing Alan pretty hard. Let's see what happens here. Back it up a little bit more if we can. I think it all happened before that. Okay, so the 22 is pushing the 9 or the 36.
Yeah,
Gets a
that's
little bit out of sorts.
just
The 9
hard
looks like
pushing.
he's going to go back. Yeah, 22 tries to come back and cover it, and the 9's already there. Just unfortunate for Crank. Looks like Crank.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Crank makes it through okay with no damage.
Well,
Does get spun after the fact, but made it through the initial, and everybody just stacks up behind him there.
yeah, there's some cars I think in the back that played it smart, if you will, for that position. They got lucky that the yellow came, but they were able to drive through and get some positions. But this lead group up front, a lot of calamity to avoid.
Yeah, a lot of calamity up front. Looks like the checkered flag is out. Top 3 is going to be Alan Ayers, Brian Dorsey, Jackie Brannon. Let me go see if I can find them all real
see
quick.
if you can pull them up. We'll watch and see if we get a little bit of a celebration spin out here by Alan. You can see your unofficial results there on the left. Alan's trying to avoid all the contact in the back. Everybody's going to congratulate him, give him a little congratulations bump. So while Cody's pulling everybody up, I'm going to pull our winner in, Alan. Alan, do you got a copy?
I do have a copy. What's up, guys?
Congratulations on that win, man. How's that feel?
It feels amazing.
We were talking earlier. We know you've been putting in a lot of work, and I thought that this might be your first truck win. Is that right?
It's my first win, first podium overall.
Oh, well, congratulations, man. I thought you'd had a Wednesday night win, but I know that feeling. I don't know. Can you describe it at all?
Honestly, relief more than anything.
So what were you thinking? You had that green white checker. You were up there in the front. You knew you were towards the front. What was going through your mind? I mean, usually being the first car is not where you want to be on a restart coming at Daytona, but you were there. So what was on your mind?
Really, on the restart, I wasn't even looking straight. I was in the rearview mirror the entire time. I knew the run was going to come from the third lane. I got a good jump on the green, so really it was just watch behind me and don't let them by.
Well, you did that successfully. There was some wrecking on the outside of you. Were you aware of what was going on? You got a copy?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
I was burnt out and lost my button. No, yeah, I saw him start spinning behind me, so I checked the relative, and I knew I had about a 0.1 lead. So I was just holding my breath and hoping that yellow flag would fly.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that, if I'm not mistaken, is going to lock you into the playoffs. I don't quote me on that. I'm not the rule maker, but I think that's the way we're doing it this year. So, what do you think? You got a long season ahead, I know, but, how are you going to focus on repeating this in the playoffs?
Really just take it week by week and learn as much as I can, put in the practice and see what happens.
That sounds like a winning strategy right there. Listen, I'm going to turn it over to you, let you say hello and thank you to anybody you'd like.
All right, thank you. First off, I want to thank my sponsor, Bully Dog Coffee Company. He's the main sponsor of our team. He's been with me for going on 4 seasons now, so he's been patient, letting me put in the work and getting settled in here. So appreciate him being patient with me. Big thanks to Viva Trucking. This is their first season on board. Glad I could get them a win in their first race as the primary sponsor. All my friends in BTR Motorsports and Reaper Racing, appreciate all the help they've given me. All the admin team, broadcast crew, of course, y'all do an awesome job every week. And friends and family watching, hi, Mom. And obviously, my beautiful wife for letting me spend a lot of time doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Good. Hey, it was great talking to you. Congratulations on that first win. I hope we are talking to you in the weeks to come.
I sure hope so too. Thank you, guys.
And then Cody, I believe, is caught up with our second place guy, Brian Dorsey.
Hey, Brian, it's Cody up here in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Kurt. What's going on, man?
Hey, so what was going through your mind? Inside lane on a green-white checker restart. Looked like Alan got a little bit better jump than you, but what was going through your mind? What were you hoping to happen there?
Not to run out of gas. Yeah, he beat me on that restart. I was kind of sleeping, but he got me pretty good. If we didn't have that caution, I wouldn't have made it. I was actually banking on a caution to happen on that green-white checker. First race, what the heck? Give it a shot, see if it works, and it happened to work today.
Well, hey, sometimes the dice fall in your favor. It looked like you kind of sputtered on that initial start. Was that from the fuel issue, or were you that close on fuel that it was sputtering, or were you just caught sleeping?
I was 100% caught sleeping. I was staring down at the blue line, and I thought the green flag was going to drop as soon as I got to the end of that blue section. It didn't hit exactly the time I thought it was, and I kind of let out of the gas. As soon as I let out of the gas, it hit, and Alan got the jump on me.
Well, hindsight's 2020 though, and it looked like that may have saved you from being involved in a wreck. That wreck seemed to happen right on the outside out front of you. You made it through clean and came home in second place. A good start to the season. I'm going to leave the floor open to you. Say hi to anybody that you want. Thank yous, whatever you need to do.
Nah, man, appreciate everybody who wants to put their name in the car. Got old Creekside Auto Salvage on it and Virginia Pro Roofing. Appreciate you guys. I know you guys are watching. Appreciate you being on the truck and hope it's a good season. And I appreciate all you guys at Cyber. It's been a fun league last couple of years, and I appreciate racing everybody in here.
Oh, we appreciate you coming out every night and racing with us, and hopefully your season goes just as good, maybe even not better than it did tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I look forward to it.
All right. Looks like Jerry may have caught up with our third place finisher, the 65 of Chris Letts. See if we can get to talk to him here real quick.
You bet. Chris, you got a copy?
Yeah, Jerry. Good
Hey, man, how about that run tonight?
Hey, not too bad. Did a little push in there on Brian at the end, to help us stay up there and avoided that wreck.
That's exactly what you need to do. Hey,
Chris, I'm going to interrupt Jerry here. Thanks to iRacing, we called you Jackie all race long. So I do apologize for that. So
yeah, that's my bad.
I was a little bit
apologize.
looking for a Jackie that I didn't recognize, and I'm like, oh yeah, the 65 is Chris. So
Yeah,
we both
yeah.
did it. We both apologize. So
No problem. She's in the other room right now.
Okay.
So,
she probably
she's
enjoys
local.
hearing her name called out. So
Yeah.
Chris, I'm trying to remember. Is this your first podium at Cyber in the trucks?
Yeah.
That's
Got a little
awesome.
taste of it finally. Yeah.
Nah, it tastes pretty good, doesn't it?
Just a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to keep pushing a little bit harder next time.
There we go. What do you think? We got a long season ahead. What do you think your chances are of being up here on the podium again this season?
Well, each race is a little bit different. You never know how it's going to end always, but we definitely would like to be up there.
Absolutely. What track? Looking at the schedule, what track is there one that you've got picked out as a favorite? You think you can do well at?
Oh, they're going to yell at me now because I haven't looked too much of it. Been working a lot.
Hey, I hear you, man.
We will take a look and keep a few of them in mind as always. But we like running them all every season. We definitely have a good time with the Cyber Thunder and love it.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Well, here, I'll tell you the next couple. Do any of these stand out? Michigan, Chicagoland, Indianapolis, Bristol. Those are the next 4 races. Do any of those stand out to you?
I'd say Michigan and Old Bristol.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Bristol's a fun one. It's kind of like Daytona. There's a little bit of a dice roll as to getting through some of the yellows, but if you can make it through, it's a fun track.
Yes, they all are, though, like we said. But thank you again, boys. We're going to get off here and go talk with Jackie for the rest of the evening.
There you go. Anybody else you want to say hi to before you go?
Good old myself being the sponsor of this own car, Let's Hunt and Sport, and Cerakote. They've always been good.
Awesome, Chris. Well, thank you for coming up here and spending some time with us, and we hope we're talking to you in the weeks to come.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Cody, that is a race. Let me see. So I didn't pull up the grid, but let me see if I can pull the results up.
That was a very, very exciting season opener for Cyber Thunder in this 2023 season 2. It was a little calm at the beginning, but I think it met expectations for Daytona there at the end for sure.
It did. So the answer to the question is no, I cannot pull up the results. All I get is a
That's okay
title
because I
that
think we
says
have some
result.
people out. We have some people out there that probably can't see them anyway. So let's just go through them.
There you go.
Alan Ayers with your victory tonight. Brian Dorsey in second. Chris Letts in third. Garrett Johnson fourth, and Crank Bell rounds out the top 5. Joey Signs, Jonathan Ellis, Chris Wold made it all the way up to 8th place. Wasn't able to do much on that restart. Didn't have a lot of time to do it. Dave Gainforth with a top 10 finish, as did William Kern.
Coming in at 11th, Carter Lawson, Andrew Caldwell, Mike Stiverson. We didn't talk about him all night, but ended up pretty much at a 13th spot. Cody Meadows, 14th. Stephen Music, 15th. Stephen Hine, Corey Sherman, Neil Hale in 18th. Leroy Coblentz and Ray Richer in 20th.
Gary Bowman 21st, followed by Mark Morton, Doug Wasaki, Andy Cork, Chris Harefield, George Cushman, Kevin Fetty, Coleridge Fenimore in 28th, Mike Donahue 29th, Daniel Koblenz in 30th.
Kyle Nadeau, we saw him with a little damage and getting out of people's way, ended up 31st. Matt Kopp, John Ross, Judd Danielson, Roscoe Coblentz. 36th is Chris Dorsey, Scott Clements Baker, Eric Anderson, Paul Turner, and Adam Benefill. That wraps up our field at Daytona. It's opening night, Tuesday night, Thunder. I'm excited for this season to come. This is going to be, I hope the rest of the races are every bit as exciting. I know sometimes at Daytona, green flag runs doesn't seem like it's exciting. There's a lot of strategy going on, fuel, pushing, trying to figure out when you're going to pit. I thought it was a great race tonight. I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was a very good race. There was very respectful racing, and even the incidents that we saw that caused the big ones, I think was just good, hard racing. Nobody looked like they were out of place. Everybody was given the room that they needed, but when things tightened up, things just happened at Daytona. It's a super speedway, baby.
Absolutely. Cody, thank you for joining me tonight and doing a great job, I think, with the racers. Hopefully I complimented you a little bit and everybody out there enjoyed the broadcast. It's going to be Cody and I the rest of the year, so we've got that to look forward to. I hope you're looking forward to it, and we will see you next week.
Yep, next week in the Irish Hills of Michigan International Speedway. Hope to see everybody out there then.
See ya.